What's up? What's up? Happy Thanksgiving. Today, I'm going to give you something that you can use to delete every single negative item that you have on your credit report. And this is going to allow you to write the letters that you need to remove collections, charge-offs, repossessions, foreclosures, inquiries. I don't care what it is. If you have negative items on your credit report and you want to remove them, then this is what you are going to want to use. And I'm going to give this to you for free. We can have me do your negative items for you instead of you doing them yourself. You don't want to deal with the validation of debt. You don't want to deal with the credit sweep. You don't want to deal with credit repair. Then you can use that link right there, my740.com. Schedule a call with me and I will see if I can personally do this for you. Now, I am going to throw up the link where you can get the letters for the validation of debt series. This is something that I sell, and today only you can go and get it for free. Totally gratis, okay? And me2.co/free-VOD. There's the key to doing anything. Just as with a lawsuit, there's a key to winning a lawsuit. Just as with, you get in trouble, you need to hire an attorney. There's a key to everything, specifically with laws, right? And when it comes to removing negative items from your credit report, there are certain things that you should be knowing, such as what you should be looking for and what you need to do with it, right? Now, with the credit sweep, this specifically works not really for credit repair. So if you're just doing the regular templates, and I wouldn't really say that this is going to work for you. But if you have been here with me, and if you haven't, that's okay, I'm going to explain it in a second, you will know that this validation of debt method works not because we're trying to force them to, approve anything, copies of anything with signatures and whatnot. It has nothing to do with that. That's just a little game that we're playing to get them to not do what we want them to not do, which is enter the notice of dispute. Here's the deal. There is a secret to the validation of debt method. What you're doing is you are disputing with the collectors and you're disputing with the bureaus, and you're hoping that they do not put the required notice of dispute. The notice of dispute is required pursuant to FCRA 623 and FDCPA 8078. Okay, so they have 30 days, whoever you're disputing with, bureaus, credit collectors, to enter this notice, or it's a violation. They can either A, pay you $1,000, or B, they can remove these things from your credit report. Which do you think that they're going to do? More than likely going to remove it from the credit report, but you have to catch them in a violation, and there's very specific things that you need to be saying in your letters, and that's why we're going over this. So let's look at these two things. So what you're going to do is you're going to dispute with bureaus or the collectors or the creditors or all three, whatever, and then you're going to catch them in the violation by them not entering that notice within 30 days. So we have the letter we send initially, we have the letter where we catch them, and then we have the letter where we prove the violation, okay? Letter 4 is our not intent to sue, but where we actually sue. I normally do not deal with that one because I always get these accounts off, virtually always, using the validation of debt plus the factual disputes, okay? So you don't need to get all hyphy about, oh, I need to make a lawsuit and blah, blah, blah. No, you don't. No, you don't. If you know how to send out these letters and you understand the law and you understand how to factually dispute, then you're not going to be taking anybody to court. So don't worry about that, okay? So let's go over this. So let me just jump down here. Okay, so the big key is that they're required to contact the credit bureaus on your behalf to make sure that they add a sentence to your credit report within 30 days saying that you disputed the account. That is why it's called the notice of dispute. You're going to see in the comment section of your credit report. So initially, you are sending out your letter, right? And your credit report has a bunch of stuff and a comment section right here. If they do not add that little statement here, now it's a violation. And when you go to the CFPB, or you're writing the bureaus and you're proving the violation, or you're proving the violation to the creditor collectors, you're going to want to have your initial report, your initial letter, the next report proving that they didn't enter it. And another big thing here is that if you're using this method for yourself, you're going to want to send it out certified to prove that on X date you disputed, on X date you pulled your report, and on X date it wasn't there, okay? So that is just my recommendation. And sometimes they're going to add that notice in, but normally it's like 60 days, right? We don't care about that. That's too bad for them because by law, they must do it within 30 days. All right, so again, we are going to be reading from over here. We simply prove that they didn't do it within 30 days, and they'll be liable to you for damages of up to $1,000 per occurrence. And it's important to note here that you're allowed to dispute anything on your credit report. Technically, it doesn't matter if it's something that you owe or that it's valid or whatever. It has to be true and accurate, and that's the only thing that matters with this, okay? Another great thing is that we're going to be asking the creditor some hard-hitting questions and requesting very specific information from them, such as copies of this, that, and the third. Now, again, that's just something to make it look like that's what we want so that they don't enter this notice that you've disputed it, okay? That is the big thing here. You see, they can send you the proof, but if they don't put the notice, they're in violation. They put the notice but don't send proof, they're in violation. So we can catch them with either of these, all right? It's still only $1,000, but they're not going to pay you $1,000. They're just going to remove this from your credit report, okay? Understanding kind of how this works is going to allow you to get these things off. Okay, so if you go and you check out those letters, you are going to see that there's very specific things. I don't want you to change anything on there other than the first line where it says, and you claim that I owe X amount for account 123 ABC. That's the part that you're going to be changing, okay? Now, when it comes to the credit bureaus, you have two different options. You can either factually dispute with them, or you can use my very simple unknown method if it's for collections, okay? If it's for the creditor one, don't do it for like you know, charge-offs and stuff like that. Only use that for regular collections, okay? That's just my recommendation. That is what I do, and that is how I get the results. So my recommendation would be use validation of debt, then use factual, and if that doesn't work, take all your proof and go to the CFPB, and you are virtually guaranteed to get these things off. It's all about the violations. It's all about the proof, and if you have the proof, proof's in the pudding, honey. All right, I do have to go, but I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you need more information on the validation of debt method, please check out my other recent videos or my lives because I go into detail how this works, okay? But it's really, really, really simple. Again, if you want to see if I can personally fix your credit for you and you don't want to deal with validation of debt and factual disputes and reinsertions and violations and all of that, then hey, that's what I'm here for. Guys, have a great one. I'll see you later. Smash the like, subscribe if you haven't done so, and let me know if you have any questions about the validation of debt or about the current sale that I have. But that is it. Bye.